review cop cars at CNET Car Tech, and more is the pity because they're kind of cool with all kinds of interesting tech that other cars don't have. The Crown Vic, the most popular police car, is going out of production. Here's what Ford is proposing that fleets use to replace it. It's a Taurus-based police interceptor. And although if you took off the gear and painted it one color, it might look pretty ordinary, there are a lot of different things going on here. Let me tell you about a few of them. First of all, a car like this is emphasizing durability. Has to idle all damn day long, has to be able to get a 75-mile-per-hour rear-end collision and maintain safety and integrity for the officers. They have a lot of common parts on these, so whether you have this or that utility version over there, just about all the maintenance items are the exact same part, even though they're different cars and actually have somewhat different engines. Oh, and all V6 now. No more police interceptors with V8s, because today's V6 does what yesterday's V8 did and probably quite a bit more. Now, beefier usually means heavier. You don't want that in a car where you're trying to get better fuel efficiency to save government's money, as well as drive this thing on a V6. So hoods are now aluminum. Lots of the pillars are boron steel, a stronger yet lighter steel. A little pricier, but there's a reason for that. Ford even pre-drills this hole because these cars have to deal with very exacting roof crush different types of tests. Ford even drills this hole for the light itself in a perfect precise spot because these vehicles have to handle some very stringent rollover and collision collapse tests. And if they don't get that just right, it'll break and fold away too easily. Let's go inside. Now, the inside of a police interceptor is probably the part you don't want to see in your lifetime, so let me show it for you here on the show floor. First of all, notice the seat bolsters here. They're actually kind of flat because when you got a Sam Brown on and a couple of clips and some pepper spray and your weapon, you'd be dragging this thing all day long. Cops hate that, so they've shaved these down, even though you might think it holds them in place less, but you got this grippy kind of utility fabric that will help with that. Up here on the wheel, either on this version or one that has the My Ford Touch controllers on each side, you'll find specialty buttons for things like lights and siren and PA. You wouldn't have that on your Taurus. Oh, here's a great spotter's tip. If you ever want to know if a Taurus or one of those utilities was actually originally built as a police interceptor, here's the dead giveaway. Column shifter. They don't offer column shifters anymore on regular retail cars. That's a police thing only. And they do that because they want to leave this area here clear for a police department installed console full of their gear. Brian Tong, pull over to the side with your hands up and the product in your hair. Well, that's easy. And up here where there's normally, what, a little sunglass binnacle type thing, they've taken that out and put in a flat place to mount things like forward-looking sensors for speed guns. Now, you think a Taurus is a significantly smaller car than a Crown Vic. At least it prints that way. But I got to say, when you pull out the console, you get a lot of space in here. In fact, there's plenty of room back here for the weapon rack. I imagine those are replicas. Now, the changes continue in the back seat as well. This door opens like 70-something degrees wider than the standard Taurus, which this car is based on. So when they're ramming your uncle in the back seat here, you won't bonk his head so readily. Also, a very simple, very clean one-piece plastic door panel. So when he wants to be generous and share his bodily fluids, we can take care of that later with not too much muss and fuss. Now, sport utility police cars have been fairly rare in the past. Ford's going to start pushing this really hard alongside the sedan as well. And then, of course, you got cars like this, which don't look like police cars until that happens. Yeah, that's how BT and I would roll when we do, CSI CNET. This is a concept of a detective or federal car that I love. Standard motor in the sedan's a 3.5-liter V6. The utility gets a 3.7. It's also available with a 3.5 EcoBoost. That's the twin turbo with 365 horsepower. They reshape all the shift points in the transmission. The suspension's heavy duty, so is the braking, so is the cooling. And by the way, all the new police interceptors, sedan or utility, are all all-wheel drive now. Makes it a lot easier for the police to focus on the perp and not on keeping their car from fishtailing. I think episodes of Cops may look different in the future. Airbags are mounted differently so they don't deploy into mounted gear and cause problems, and ballistic door panels keep the bullets out to some degree. These cars will be coming into police fleets mid to late 2011 because the bids begin right around July. Most governments are on that mid-year start of their fiscal year when they start to go out and buy new cars for their fleets. It's going to take many years for all the Crown Vics to wash out, but in the meantime, you might start wanting to get used to a different profile in your rear view mirror to watch out for.